All right, Class 10 students, listen up. Board exams are just around the corner, and I know what's on your mind. So today we're not just going to study, nope, we're going to build a rock-solid game plan for one of the most critical chapters in your entire biology syllabus.
So let me ask you something. What's the real secret to crushing the CBSE science exam? I mean, we all know that one person who's basically glued to their books, right? Day and night just studying. But then, their marks don't really show it. What's up with that?
Well, it's because it's not just about studying harder. That's a huge myth we need to bust right now. The real key, the thing that separates the high scores from everyone else, it's all about studying smarter.
Exactly. It's about knowing where the marks are actually hidden. Think of it like a treasure map for your exam, pointing you straight to the gold. And guess what? I've got that map, and I'm about to share it with you.
Okay, look at this number, 10. Just 10. That's how many marks a single chapter is worth in your biology exam. 10 marks. That is a huge piece of the pie. And that chapter, the big one, is life processes.
And hey, don't just take my word for it. This is straight from the official CBSE blueprint. Life processes is an absolute giant at 10 marks. That's double the weight of other chapters like hereditary or our environment. Just let that sink in. If you nail this one chapter, it's like nailing 2 other chapters combined. That's efficiency. This chart really drives the point home, doesn't it? Life processes is a total heavyweight, right up there with electricity and physics. The time you spend on this chapter gives you a way bigger payoff than, for example, a smaller chapter like magnetic effects. It's all about smart choices. Okay, so the mission is clear. We have to conquer this 10-mark titan. But how do we even start without getting totally overwhelmed? Simple. We break it down. Let's dive into the 4 core ideas that this whole chapter is built on. Here they are, the 4 pillars of life processes: nutrition, respiration, transportation, and excretion. Get a solid grip on these 4, and trust me, those 10 marks are practically yours.
But hold on. Just memorizing definitions won't cut it. The real trick is knowing how these topics turn into actual questions on your exam paper. So let's crack that code, starting with nutrition and respiration.
Okay, inside nutrition, a super common topic is the difference between autotrophic and heterotrophic. It's pretty simple when you think about it. Autotrophs are like the chefs of the world. They make their own food, like plants. Heterotrophs, they're the customers. They rely on others for food. Easy, right? But don't be fooled. Examiners love this simple concept.
So the big question is, how does this simple idea actually get you marks in the exam?
Well, you'll probably see it as a classic short answer question. And to get full marks, you just need to follow a simple checklist. First, define each one. Second, talk about where they get their energy. And third, pop in an example for both. Boom, boom, boom. You hit those 3 points, you get the marks. It's that easy. All right, let's apply that same thinking to respiration. Aerobic versus anaerobic. Imagine aerobic respiration is like a high-performance engine. It uses oxygen to burn fuel completely and gets a ton of energy. Anaerobic, on the other hand, is like an old, inefficient engine running without enough oxygen. It sputters, doesn't burn all the fuel, and leaves behind stuff like lactic acid or ethanol.
But what if this shows up in a different format, say, as an MCQ? How would that look?
Check this out. This is a real MCQ from a sample paper. See, if you just remember that the anaerobic process in yeast creates ethanol and carbon dioxide, you can spot the right answer in like 2 seconds. That's a super easy mark right there. A quick win. Okay, moving on. For our next 2 topics, transportation and excretion, I want to let you in on a little secret weapon for scoring big in biology. And that is diagrams. Seriously, for complicated stuff like this, they are an absolute game changer.
I mean, think about it. When you have to explain something complex, like the human heart or the urinary system, a good, well-labeled diagram does half the work for you. It's not just a drawing, it's proof to the examiner that you actually get it.
So which one should you really focus on? The blueprint points directly to the human alimentary canal. Here's a pro tip. Just draw it once a day for a week. I'm serious. By day 7, you'll be able to draw and label it with your eyes closed. That's what I call a smart use of your study time.
All right, let's talk about the big ticket items, the main event. According to the blueprint for life processes, you need to be ready for a 4-mark case-based question. This isn't about just remembering facts. This is the real test of your understanding.
So what even is a case-based question? Basically, it's a little story or scenario. Instead of asking, what is digestion,
They'll give you a situation, maybe an experiment, and ask you to apply what you know. They really want to see if you can think like a scientist and connect the dots.
So they might show you a diagram of an experiment, kind of like this one here, and all the questions that follow will be about this specific setup. It's all about testing if you can pull different pieces of your knowledge together to solve a problem.
Let's break down a real example from the sample paper. The scenario is about digestion, and the questions aren't simple. They ask you to identify which food has fats and how it's digested, where starch digestion begins, and where most of the digested food gets absorbed. You see? It's not one fact. It's making you link everything you know about the digestive system.
Whew, okay, that was a lot. So let's pull it all together. I'm going to give you a simple, step-by-step game plan that you can start using tonight.
Here it is, your 5-step blueprint for success. 1. Look at the exam blueprint so you know where the marks are. 2. Master the 4 core concepts: nutrition, respiration, transportation, excretion. 3. Don't just learn facts, connect them to the kinds of questions they'll ask. 4. Practice your diagrams until they're perfect. And 5. Solve those sample papers. Practice makes perfect.
So there you have it. The blueprint to those 10 marks is officially in your hands. You've got the strategy, you know the important topics, and you know how they're going to test you. The only thing left is for you to go out there and build that perfect score. You've got this. Good luck.